Good evening and welcome to this new episode of the EEEO Conversations. Today we are together with an amazing story coming from India and pulling together a huge group of workers in on one side exploring let's say the boundaries of self-management, of autonomy, in a sense also of love and kindness, but on the other side as building an enterprise from it, probably taking inspirations from other experiences into the world, but building also on these experiences in a very unique and specific way. I'm very grateful uh, to have today the team from Jaipur Rugs. Welcome and thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you, Emanuele. It's a pleasure to be on this show with you.
Thank you. So actually your story is very well known, but not of all the people listening to this conversation may know the details. So my first question for you is if you could tell us a bit more about how Jaipur started in 1978. That's a lot of years. How he started and what happened since then, and what are you trying to do? What are you trying to bring into the world?
So, Jaipur Rugs started in 1978 with Mr. Chaudhary's love for people and his love for exploring art and creativity around him. And at that time, he was exploring the potential of rug weaving business, and there was a huge demand globally. But the problem was when he started the business with a loan of $500, two looms and nine artisans, he faced a big challenge from his family because the artisan at that time were from the untouchable class and communities. So his family rejected him because he wanted to pursue a career where the people were from untouchable communities. And these weaver communities who were creative at that point, but they were also rejected from the society. So Jaipur Rugs came into being with the whole idea of two rejected people came together for selfless love. And that's how Jaipur Rugs started. And in till today, if we talk about, we are now a extended family of 40,000 artisans spread across 600 villages in 5 states of India, and connecting these artisans with the craft connoisseurs in almost 60 countries around the world now. We have a US arm based in Atlanta, Georgia, and currently we have a team size of around 800 people working in India and almost 150 people working in US. And the total revenue of both the companies is somewhere around $75 million. So the idea for us is to connect the world, connect the people at the grassroots and people from the highest sector of the pyramid through unconditional love.
Wow, I love the term unconditional love. And quite interesting, you didn't talk about weavers, you talked about artisans. Uh, what's the role of art into this journey? Is it really a job? Is it really a business? And I know you get this question a lot. Is this about money? Is it about profit? Or is it about love? Is it about giving 40,000 artisans from all the castes a unique opportunity that they didn't have?
See, for us, art is a form of expression. And Mr. Chaudhary always believed that this is the most powerful form of expression, which not only is one sided, but it's a two-way. And that's how the human connections, we can celebrate the human connections, because when these artisans weave the rug, it takes them from 3 months to 1 year to weave that rug. And during that time, they imbued all the emotions in that rug. And that expression of their emotions through the rug is then celebrated by the consumers all around the world. And that's how we bridge the gap of people who are not connected in this world.
Great, thank you. And is there, let's say, a common set of values, of beliefs that, okay, I know there are a number of practices, but is there a set of values behind those practices? And we will talk about the practices in this conversation, but what's behind, what is that you and Mr. Chaudhary really believe in and built on in this long journey and this long evolution of the journey, because I know it has many steps and also a number of potential opportunities for the future.
See, at the very core of Jaipur Rugs, it's the love and compassion. As I said, it's out of unconditional love that Jaipur Rugs came into being. And over the period of time, we have realized that the core purpose of Jaipur Rugs is to nurture the creative capacities of the artisans and then empower them to fulfill their aspirations so that they can live a dignified life. So we make this core purpose into reality with 5 sets of core values that we practice, that we live every moment at our work. The first one is integrity. The second one is humility. The third one is empathy, shared wisdom, and saralta. So saralta means simplicity with effortlessness, because Mr. Chaudhary has always believed in the power of innocence. And how can business be driven with innocence? Because he always believed that these people can see something more which the normal people cannot see. And integrating that into the business practice has really helped us to bring these voices of 40,000 artisans across the world.
Thank you. I hope you can still hear me. Just 1 second. Let me change the connection, and then we will cut to be sure that you can hear me well. Sorry for the interruption. Okay. Okay, a question I had for you is how to leverage these values when you have 40,000 independent actors, friends, artisans spread in different places of India, now of the world. So how to glue them together, how to connect them, how to energize the values in this big but widespread organization?
See, it's an inside-out journey. Jaipur Rugs is like it started with Mr. Chaudhary's own inner journey, and he says that he always had love for people inside him. And when the love for people started like becoming overflowing, then people around him started connecting and gluing with that love and compassion that he always believed in the potential of the people. And with that overflowing love, I think we are able to connect these 40,000 artisans as a family, because these independent people are working as entrepreneurs but are a part of an integrated big family.
I see lots of resonance actually what the IR is doing, and actually I've seen today that you got an award from IR at the recent Open Talks 2020. So first of all, congratulations are in order, and maybe this award also came because at the end you are building, as IR is doing, a coherent but quite distributed and diverse organization. So I wanted to explore a bit of those practices with you. First of all, what's the impact that you expect from having 40,000 people and then their authenticity, their ingenuity, their passion to come together? What's the big prize here? I know that you, Mr. Chaudhary, work for them, and as you said, also they gave energy and love to Mr. Chaudhary. But what's the potential of putting together so many people and so many independent actors? What's the end result of that?
See, the basic idea is that how can we serve the underserved customers? Because like the viewers were seeking the unconditional love, similarly, people all around the world are seeking something in their life. And that's how we defined our core, that if we can serve these underserved customers who are seeking blessings for their family, who are seeking some extraordinary quality work for their homes, their houses. So how can we connect them with these artisans and their demand? So like basis on the Rendanheyi model, we always believed keeping the customer at the core. So whatever Mr. Chaudhary did and creating this ecosystem of Jaipur Rugs, connecting the artisans with the end consumers, he kept in the center as the customers. And he always said that we have to find this nature of them being underserved, and how can we bring our systems and processes by making sure that their demands and their needs are being met well.
And as you said, this is a very strong connection with Ayer, the zero distance from the customer. And maybe if for Ayer it's really difficult, for you it's even more difficult, because at the end you don't have a big office with 40,000 people.
Yes.
You have many families in different villages. Can you tell us a bit more about how does it look like in reality? So what's your relationship with the artisans? Are you interacting with them personally? Are you talking with them? Are you working with them? Or at the end, is there a distance because it's not that easy to interact with 40,000 people? There are 40,000 families probably.
So let me give you a snapshot of how this is placed. So we have a headquarters in Jaipur where like around 800 team members work in different departments like sales, marketing, accounts, finance. And then we have these villages in different states. From their houses, the weavers work. And the way we work with them is that we have different branches in different states. And then at these branches, we have branch managers, quality supervisors, and weavers companion who engage on daily basis with these weavers family. And how we integrate it all is through a very strong enterprise resource planning ERP system. And then through technology, we are able to get in touch with each and every weaver. And at least even if we talk about today, then every day what is happening on the loom in terms of the work gets recorded in real time on the app, and we can get that information at the head office. So that's how we have created this seamless integration and relationship between different stakeholders in our ecosystem.
And also in the morning at 7 o'clock, I connect all our branch managers, quality supervisors, and bunkar sangis throughout India to learn what is going on the daily basis with the weavers. So each and everybody is connected very well with me.
Thank you.
So when the day begins, Mr. Chaudhary first of all gets connected with all these 600 villages through these branch managers and quality supervisors.
Yeah, that's nothing less than amazing. And I guess quality is as well an important value, both for you and for customers that are benefiting and enjoying the rugs. How can you control, or how can you, let's say, guarantee quality in this very much distributed organization?
See, quality was the topmost priority even when Mr. Chaudhary made his first rug with 9 artisans. His main focus was that how do we get the best quality of rug that these artisans are able to make. So he always started giving them the faith that they can do the best and unleash their potential through their work. And now when we talk about that, we have been developing our systems and processes so that even in this distributed supply chain, how we can deliver like 100% on-time delivery with zero wastage and 100% quality work with zero defects. And through our quality supervisors, branch manager, every day visiting these looms, checking their work, quality controlling everything and putting it into a system helps us to measure and check the quality at every step in the whole process. And rug weaving is a very long and a very cumbersome process which has more than 60 processes. So at every single process, there is an input for the next one. And that's how we make sure that the qualities are being met at the standards of the customer needs.
But I know that recently you started with another experiment into the bigger experiment of total self-management. So you took a group of artisans and basically you gave them full responsibility also for quality. Is that right? Can you tell us a bit more about that?
See, Mr. Chaudhary's idea of self-management is always say self-management is finding yourself through losing yourself. So the more you lose yourself, the more you find yourself. And he said he has evolved from the founder with 9 artisans to this big family with this philosophy of losing yourself. Then we started the same with these artisans. We shared with them the potential that they have, their capabilities, and then we gave them this mantra that they can be the owners, and we quoted that each artisan should be an entrepreneur. And then we started with a small group of 600 viewers, wherein we started with self-management coaching to mindset coaching to leadership trainings, and then gave them the full responsibility and accountability of their work, and gave them these 3 criteria of zero wastage, 100% on-time delivery. And the result of this whole happened that 40-50% of production coming from those set of viewers were completely matching these 3 parameters. So basically, it was about realizing their potential to themselves, that they are capable to do that, and we just gave them that platform and that environment to enable them to do that job.
What does this tell us about human beings? Is there any lesson to take for organizations worldwide? No control and great results. What's the lesson?
See, for us, it's every individual is a seed of immense potential. It's just as a leader, as a founder, if you have that eye to see that potential in that individual and then translate that potential into business result, that will beneficial for both like the communities and for the headquarters and for the customer fraternity. And that's how we create a family, basically.
Is there a responsibility that Jaipur Rugs has in terms of enabling, equipping the artisans and the families to do their work? So at the end, I know that many of them were not educated. I don't know if that's still true, but for sure at the beginning it was like that. Many of them didn't have looms. So at the end, to grow, probably there is also an evolution of society, the level of knowledge, the mastery of the artisans. How does this look like? What's needed to make this happen?
See, in 2004, we realized that we need to have a separate entity that takes care of all these other aspects of weaver's life. So we created a non-profit called Jaipur Rugs Foundation, and Jaipur Rugs Foundation engages with the artisans for their 360-degree development. So they get the financial independence through the work that our business provide them, and the foundation takes care of all the other social development in their life, like for example, education. So we run education program in these villages for the women so that they can know how to write, read, do their signature, feel their identity, do the maths by themselves and be independent. They should have their own bank accounts, have financial independence through functional literacy and financial literacy. Then we also realized that the big gap in these rural communities is because there is a barrier of information and there are a lot of other benefits that they can get from government. So we take that charge and we connected them with the other government insurance scheme so that their family can be insured. We get them the basic money required for education of their children. So foundation in that case takes care of the 360-degree life of the weavers. And also we realized that access to healthcare was a big challenge in those communities. So we collaborated with other health experts in and around the world and get them those services at the doorsteps, the same way we delivered the work at the doorsteps.
Yeah, I see lots of value given back to the communities, not just to the weavers. And I know that Mr. Chaudhary also pose lots of attention on salaries and the possibility, let's say, to remove the middleman, to remove bureaucracy, and to give most of the value back to the women's or the families that are producing, creating the carpets. Again, can you tell us a bit more about how salaries work in higher? Of course, compensation is a hot topic also for motivating work. How does it work in your case, and what has been the impact of removing bureaucracies on families and individuals?
See, the rug industry have been predominantly driven by the middlemen who have always taken up the value generated from the customers and have percolated very less benefits to the weaver. So Mr. Chaudhary's first revolutionary step was to eliminate the middlemen and connect the weavers directly with the consumer so that they get the best share of the value created. And then through this process of democratizing the entire supply chain, all the stakeholders involved in this value chain gets the fair share of the value that is generated from the business. And so the weavers are working as independent entrepreneurs from their homes so that they get paid to the amount of work that they do. And the wages that are set are based on the intricacy of the design they choose to work, or the technicality of design they choose to work with. And at the head office level, the way we decide the salaries is firstly, yes, based on the experience of the employees. And secondly, more important criteria that we bring in is the value that they add to the customer experience. So these are the two core principles that forms the basis of deciding the salaries at the headquarters and at the weavers level.
Okay, very, very interesting. And another question I had in mind is most of the work, the weaving work, autonomous? So at the end, it's one individual creating the carpet, or are there teams working together? And I know of a specific story, the Antar case,
Yes.
that again maybe includes another lesson that we could take from rugs.
So basically, like 3 to 4 weavers sit on a loom and work together in a very collaborative approach. And like we believe that collaboration is basically in being sync with the nature. And the people in these villages are mostly connected to nature, and they are attuned with the dynamics of nature. And the rug, Antar rug gives a classic example of these, how 3 different individuals with 3 completely different approaches, but when they work together for a common vision, so they may not be on a common collaborative point even in the beginning of the work, but as they progress over time, they understand each other's value and they understand the value that they add to the work that they are doing. And finally, at the point of the learning curve, they understand how to collaborate with that. But what we have played a very strong focus on our work with the artisans is to always keep them conscious about the customer's need. So everything that they do has to serve these underserved customers. And so when they work on the loom, we give them this criteria that giving them 100% on time will enable them to grow as artisans, and also give them customers to get a fair share in creating that potential for them.
And maybe there is another insight that we can take from this story. And I know that Mr. Chaudhary's daughter is a very fine designer. And yes, the story may be that even imperfection could be art and could give inspiration, could transmit love, right? Because for those that are not aware of that, Antar is a carpet that, as you said, has been created by 3 artisans that were not going along so well at the beginning. So you can see in the carpet at the bottom the 3 different styles. And eventually, at the end of the carpet, they started to really work in sync. And you see the beauty emerge from the weaving. But again, this specific piece has become, a big piece of art. So even imperfection can be appreciated and can give us, let's say, emotions, and can give us something that maybe a perfect carpet wouldn't give. What do you think about that?
See, we think that imperfection, if that comes out of authenticity, gives that connect to the person who is experiencing that. So like in our case, the weavers work from their hands. So everything is hand, every single knot is hand done. So in that there can be one or two or three errors, but those errors have to be consciously recognized while they are doing the whole weaving. And while we are doing our quality check and while we are doing the finishing processes, we make sure that we bring that errors up. And then this whole idea of imperfection, having a sense of connect for people, is our own basic human nature that connects us from different human beings, because we are all different, but still there is a golden thread that connects us all. And I think if we believe in that golden thread, then we'll able to embrace the imperfections of nature, imperfections of our work, and able to bring the desired vision fulfilled.
What's the direction for the future? I'm sure that you are thinking about other experiments. You are maybe you want to grow farther, or maybe you want to have a deeper impact on the system. Where are you heading towards?
See, this journey started with these unidentified people to getting them a recognition as weavers. And as we evolved, we are now working on the biggest project of creating Earth's best artisan proposition, wherein these weavers will be graduated from weavers to artisans and from artisans to artists. And then these artists will be connected from the world of design. So this will give voices to the unheard voices from the grassroots and connect them by creating, like currently we are a luxury brand recognized all over the world. But like as Rendanheyi model, the objective is to have an evolving ecosystem brand that have all the elements and emotions and then gives the complete human experience.
And probably this has an impact both on customers and on artisans. I don't think we talk a lot about dignity, but dignity is something that I have seen coming up a lot in the articles about your story. So my question for you is, what's the effect at the human level of Jaipur Rugs history on the artisans and on the customers? What's the feedback that you hear directly from your colleagues or from the customers? What do they say about your work and the way in which you do this work?
See, one common feedback that we get is the confidence and the happiness that they see on the faces of all the employees at Jaipur Rugs and all the weavers of Jaipur Rugs. So they are always curious to understand how and what they do that keeps them happy all the time. Because the way at Jaipur Rugs we believe in celebrating the work that we do and connecting through the people through the celebration. I think this is one common feedback that we get all the time.
Celebrations also at home, I guess. When you get the carpet and you can walk on it or spend
Exactly.
your time.
Like our tagline is that we don't sell rugs, we share families' blessings, because like the rug that is being weaved has the blessing of the weaver's family, and the customers buy the prosperity in the form of that blessings for their family.
Thank you. I see. I look at your story. It's really giving and transmitting this energy, this love, this care, this intimacy with the customer, but also the intimacy to the weavers. And still, I see millions of organizations and millions of employees in large organizations that are not feeling the same. What's your best advice on one side to demonstrate that this is possible? It's possible in the US, it's possible in China, it's possible in India. And what's the starting point if you had to distill really the principles, the first steps other organizations should start on? What would those be?
Because I think love is the goal and life is the journey. So if the goal is not right, we can't enjoy the journey. So I think the journey of business, if we are not driven by the love, whatever we do is not going to sustain. So love is the only criteria to sustain the earth, to sustain the business, to sustain the life. And I always say, because love is free, so nobody buy it.
But that's really interesting, because I can imagine how even the word love could sound to the typical CEO, right? And Mr. Chaudhary probably is quite a unique executive in an organization. And I agree with you. I believe that love is really the force, but this is not a word we use often in business. So what we are saying is that love can and must go together with a good business, because at the end, Jaipur Rugs is profitable. It's not a social enterprise. It's a for-profit enterprise. It's not, let's say, 100%. I know about the foundation, but most of it. So what I hear is that love is good for people, but it's good also for the business. Is that right?
Yes, because I always think that I meet so many people and they say that we want to do good for the society, we want to good for the people. But I always feel in my life that if you don't love yourself, if you don't trust yourself, you can't love the other person. So the first requirement is that you must love yourself. And the more you love yourself, you start overflowing and reaches to the others. So I think love is the natural phenomena. It is a very scientific thing that if we love ourselves, start overflowing, it connect to the viewers, it connect to the end consumer. And also we can see the capability of the people which we have. So it purely makes sense that using their capabilities, using their natural abilities in the business is only possible through the love. And that company can satisfy the customer needs much better than the other companies.
Yeah, I agree that maybe you are not best, but you are unique for sure. So maybe there is no comparison, even if trying to put you next to other organizations. I have one final question for you. I think that we are all living in a very peculiar moment in history. We see lots of tension, at the political level, at the climate level. And we see many organizations that are maybe doing well financially, but they are not doing much for the rest of the society. They are generating lots of externalities. They are making lots of people dissatisfied, disengaged. Do you feel that the businesses, and Jaipur Rugs in this case, have a responsibility for the world, for society? Not just for the families, but really for the world, for us all, for our planet, for our future. Is this the time to think about that, or it's just, a nice story, a nice fantasy, but it's not that mandatory after all?
No, you are totally right. Business have the greatest responsibility. And I'm quite clear that business is the only place which can bring the change into the society, into the nation. And I want to tell you one story that when I was studying in my college, one day a very strict professor of business administration came to my class and he asked me to stand. And I was afraid that why he asked me to stand, because I was a very disciplined student. And I thought, I don't did mischievousness, why is standing me? Then he took out a test copy and showed to the whole class that see what this boy has written. The question was, what is the definition of business? And what I replied was, business is next to love. It is the creator and preserver of civilization. And the professor said, this boy will become a unique business one day.
Thank you. I think it's really a source of inspiration. And I really hope that more businesses and more executives will find the way that you have designed. And that's why I really wanted to have this conversation with you. Is there any last suggestion or remarks or even hope that you would like to share with the people listening to us?
The biggest thing which I learned in my life is just be yourself. Because generally businesses are driven by the inferiority complex, and inferiority complex creates the fear. So everything which we do in the business is driven by the fear. All decision is based on the fear. And the fear damages the society, and fear damages all other things. So just be yourself.
And share lots of love, I guess.
Yes.
And I agree with you. And really, I would like to send you lots of love. I hope that we, at some time, we can really meet. Thank you so much for your story, for your experience, and also for what you bring into the world. This is the end of this conversation. As you know, we are trying to connect the experience of Ayer with other experiences, such as the one from Jaipur Rugs. We are going to talk more about these topics at the upcoming Rendanheyi masterclass that will be run in October. And I wish you really the best for Jaipur Rugs, but also for your families. And please, let's stay in touch. Thank you again.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure. Thank you.